Every town should have a Punisher. The people that have intelligence, that have open minds, they will still have an open mind.
Fucking life. Not a black person without a life.
To me, I feel like it's a little bit of a slap in the face to this country.
GHI.
Do you know what that is? Yeah, that's faggot.
See, that's sexy right here. Look at this.
And Polish people all look the same.
So basically, what you're saying is, if the left bases their slavery knowledge and stereotypes on the movie Roots, which has 12 Portuguese guys chasing one black dude instead of showing how
They were already in cages at the port.
Yeah, African tribes were selling slaves from other tribes that they've gone to war with. They never showed that in the movie Roots. So if you're basing your stereotype of slavery on that, then how come the deep state doesn't exist? You know, based on the same logic, the deep state should exist because of Tom Clancy's movies. Who Tom Clancy did have, well, he died now, but he had a lot of contacts and connects with the intelligence world, the Pentagon, the government. He had a lot of friends there. That's how he wrote all his books. They're all fiction, but they're all based in some type of root.
Exactly. And in fact, they're put out as fiction so to give plausible deniability to events that actually happen. Oh, well, you're just basing you think we're acting like a Tom Clancy book. But the truth is, they are acting like a Tom Clancy book, and that's put out there for its plausible deniability.
Yeah. And like say somebody works...
And Alice Jones was correct about the gay frogs.
Yeah, so what if somebody has a conscience, and, in the CIA they have a conscience, and they're like, well, I can't really talk about this, but if I give it to my buddy over here, Tom, he'll make up a fake story about it, which is kind of similar to what we're doing, and
he'll put it in a different country.
He'll put it in a different country, different world, whatever, but...
He might even use different actors. He might even use different states doing the techniques that we're using in America.
Yeah.
A perfect example would be British. Hey, let me ask you something. I put out the report this week, right? And so obviously I had my views on the impeachment and how it totally backfired, and on a dime they pivoted, of course. So Pelosi comes out and he says, well, he's guilty of bribery. Okay, well, if he's guilty of bribery, then you can start the impeachment right now because you have proof of bribery. And you know what? The Republicans will vote with you because they're not slime.
So why didn't you run with the bribery at first?
Because there is no bribery. And then when she was asked, well, so then you're going to start the official impeachment then? She goes, oh, no, we can't do that yet. Well, if you have proof of bribery, why can't you do that yet? Because you don't have proof of bribery. You're pivoting. You're pivoting to give yourself 2 more weeks to try to find somebody to lie. And the thing I said is like, well, it's a hell of a lot easier to get somebody in your own sphere of influence, say CIA, FBI, to lie on your behalf, deep state again. I mean, you're never going to be able to prove it. That's not the goal of this. In the end, you're going to get found out. But after the Russia probe, they got found out, and nothing happened. So they're just doubling down.
Yeah, okay, you want to talk about deep state, right? We all know in business, right? There's business that goes on in the boardroom, right?
Yes.
That's public record, has minutes of the meetings and everything. That's public record.
And then there's the golf course.
And then there's the golf course. Then there's the backroom deals. You think those backroom deals don't occur in business? Bullshit. They occur all the time.
They occur everywhere.
All the time. Off the record backroom deals. Right? So you're telling me corporation to corporation, they don't make backroom deals to do things?
What about government? Same deal.
Governments don't do that.
Governments do it even more. And you know what's funny?
It's illogical to think so.
It's funny.
Illogical to think so that government will do a backroom deal without congressional or public knowledge.
And you know what's funny? Trump has a phone call in which he gives out the exact fucking phone call, and they're like, okay, well, the phone call was 26 minutes, and the transcript is roughly about 9 minutes.
Those phone calls are not what you need to worry about. What you need to worry about is when Trump goes to Ukraine, you need to see where he goes, who he meets with, whatever's off the record. That is where the real Stuff
That's none of our goddamn business. You know why? You know why it's not? Because we voted him in to do that on our behalf. That's the point of a republic.
Yeah.
That's the point of a republic.
If you want to go that
if you want to use something.
Because if somebody's going to do some nefarious stuff, they're not going to do it over a White House phone line. Okay?
But I guarantee Joe Biden did.
Trump could be the
Biden
in the world.
Show us Joe Biden's transcripts, because I guarantee Joe Biden did, because he's a fucking moron. Now listen. But somebody might even call Trump naive, because not only did he have a perfect phone call to address an issue that was basically the point of the spear for 2 years against him that was proven false. So continuing to research into those actions is not only legal, it's his duty. But he doesn't even do that on his own. He does that on the basis of a treaty that was ratified by the previous when the previous administration.
I think the biggest thing with that whole call and the whole conversation was that it looks like a quid pro quo because he withheld the money for military aid.
Yeah, but see, they didn't know he was withholding the money, and that's consistent with everything that he's done with every other country, and it's consistent with the policy that he set forth. It's also consistent to the campaign promises that he made to the fucking country. So if somebody makes a campaign promise, you can't fault them for fucking keeping it. That's basically what I mean. At the end of the day, because I mean, you want to talk about gray area? Like, you want to talk about gray area? He basically asked the guy who got elected in order to root out the same corruption that
in his country
that was joined with our country, that was used to take down this president. This other president comes in, elected to root out the same, not even corruption as a whole, to root out the same vein.
Yeah.
Of corruption. So it's the idea of making this an issue is even more ridiculous, because it's not even like, oh, he campaigned on getting rid of corruption and Trump has a rightful right because he was attacked with this, but now he has evidence to prove this, which is perfectly legal there. But it goes even deep, like the legality of it goes even deeper to make it even more correct.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that got elected there and the guy that got elected here both literally got elected to root out the same exact vein. And the Congress of our country, I don't know if they had a resolution in Ukraine or not, but we know the people voted for it. But we know that there was a resolution in our own Congress. So that's the second branch that put in place this treaty in order for them to do exactly what they did. You know why the Dems are so pissed off? Because they wanted to use that exact treaty to commit more corruption. And the fact that it's being used to root out their corruption, and you know what? I'm gonna be quite honest here. I guarantee you that this if we win, if the people win, it's going to be a lot of Democrats to go down, but there's going to be Republicans to go down too.
We might say this for another thing, but I had a thought how, you know how everyone always says the Republicans are for a party for the rich and the Democrats are for the poor of the country.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit, right? But to an extent, you know, Trump does make laws, and the laws they make are pretty much, you know, they kind of like lean towards, you know, the wealthy.
Yes,
you know,
they do.
They lean towards corporate, you know, having whatever.
And they're working.
Yeah. The way I thought about it was, on a local level, up until the state level, governor should be Republican. The whole of the country should be a Democrat.
Yeah.
Think about it. And the states should have whatever the states want should be how Congress is set up.
You know, it's funny because I understand exactly your point.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. I understand.
Congress is made up of, like, New Jersey should be a Republican at the helm, but they still might send more Democrats to the government.
Sure. Well, that happens anyway.
So then that fights it out on a federal level.
But you know what? Because basically the legislative branch needs a checks and balances.
Yes.
Because what's happening is that the fact that the legislative branches in the states are not being checked and balanced.
No, it's out of control.
It bleeds into the courts, and then the courts are appointed. So if you don't have that separation in the executive branch of state, and you have like a power, then what they do is they appoint all this, and then next thing you know, you're basically living in a goddamn oligarchy because they're all bought. Yeah. Right, but what I want to go back. I want to go back.
I just the thought just popped in my head.
No, that's a great thought because I've thought about that too, and I actually kind of have inverted your way of thought because I believe on the local level, a Democrat policy without being able to have a Democrat policy would be better on a local level with a Republican policy better in the federal. If you could stem the fact, if you can stem or cut down them having unlimited pockets, and we've talked about this. The way I look at it is we have to have an incentive system. A lot of public workers don't make as much as private sector on the face, but with what they receive in benefits. Actually, in a lot of cases, outweighs it.
Benefits and job security is what is the enticing factor for public.
Yeah, and the fact that they can be corrupt and not be checked makes it even more. If you move your way up, and we go back to the deep state. But what needs to happen is instead of saying, if you don't spend all this money, we're not going to send you the same amount next year.
That's ridiculous.
What we need to do is have an incentive plan. Like your bonuses, like you don't get your pay raise every year.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you could save, the more money you could save to do a better job, or even if you spend the same amount that you spent last year, but the quality of the job that you did is better.
So you're talking about incentivizing and giving bonuses to public workers
instead of just giving them flat raises.
So let's say a city gets $1 million, right? And I am the director of public works. I got $1 million from the state to
fix our wharf,
fix our roads. Well, I kind of fixed it, this and that, and I saved $100,000. So I should get 1%.
No, but it has to be practical. You don't just give it like that. What you have to do is you have to give it in. Let's say, okay, you're using that money to do roads. Now, to evaluate the building of a road, right, you have to give it at least one winter. You should probably give it 3, but you'd have to at least give it one winter. So that benefit or that bonus that you would receive for that, even if you're out of the job the next year, you have to do it that way. But see, then let's say you take something like building, or let's say you take something like fixing the plumbing in the town. That's something that you're going to get within 3 months. You're gonna know because you might have saved.
Yeah, that's the details of the actual work.
Every kind of. But and you can do that because there's only like 12 jobs that's in this is gonna happen. You have to break it up.
If you are that good of a business manager of funds and
it's not just about how much money you save. It's about the quality.
And if you can work with the prevailing wage, the lowest bidder, and you can still produce quality work and figure out how to save money. Then you deserve a bonus.
You deserve a bonus, exactly. Because you know what? Because if you don't do that, guess what those people are going to do? Because once you get to that level of that bureaucratic structure, they're going to start making. Look at the mayor of Linden. You're going to start making money to put up shitty fucking buildings. Now this way, you incentivize them to put up good buildings to get their money, and you make it impossible for them to get their money without doing it because the next year. you could spend less, but you're not going to get. But you can, if you do a good job, you can get more because people are going to trust you to do more. You're not going to automatically get less. I mean, I understand that there's going to have to be an overseer here, and there is a gray area, but the change has to happen. You cannot continue to force people to waste money because it.
So what you're saying is you should bring corporate America practices into the public works.
Of course.
I get a bonus every year.
Of course you should.
I get a bonus every year based, and
I'm not saying you have to bring corporate America in to do it, which in some places works, right? And so some small towns it's worked out very well.
Yeah.
But that's not. But like in New York City, that's not going to work very well. I don't think, because you have to have it's got to be a single unit. So in a small town that will work very well, but in somewhere like New York City it won't work. But the practices will work.
Yeah.
So when I know I'm just trying to bring it out there for everybody.
Not outsourcing, but actually the practices.
But
ideas.
You don't throw away good practices.
Yeah.
You don't throw away good practices. Like that's unwise.
Yeah. Like my division at my job, we have a budget. If we go under budget, we get a bonus, right? If we have more sales and we produce more, we get a bonus. If we go under budget, the CEO doesn't go to my boss and say, "Hey, you gotta spend an extra $100,000."
Bottom line,
you're not getting it next year.
Yeah, exactly. Bottom line is, you save $100,000, right? And everything is kosher because you do it right. You just save $100,000 from doing a good job and being proactive and being proficient. Right now, your department could have wasted that $100,000 to get it to next year, but instead, what we're going to do is you guys did well. Now we're going to spend all the $5,000. Let's even say $5,000 bonus for all the desk guys. So 25. Let's say there's 5 there, right? And we throw $1,500 to everybody else, right? That we got what $60,000 or $60,000 or $50,000 that we're not spending, and then you know what's going to happen next year? We're not going to deny you that $100,000 next year. We save $50,000. So if you do that, it will turn over to the fact where you're actually saving money. People are living better.
Yeah,
and you
put that extra money. You divide it up as much. You put it into a reserve account for next year, or you put it towards bonuses, or you split it reserve account bonuses, or whatever you want to do with it.
And if that's federally funded money, then you could defer it to the state. If it's state funded money, you could divert it to the county. If it's county funded money, you could divert it to the municipality.
The problem here is that why corporate America is as cutthroat and as it is because everything they do is based on their share value in the stock market, right? Because they are accountable to who? My CEO of my company is accountable to who, and that board is accountable to who? The shareholders. Everybody that holds stock in my company, is accountable. The CEO and the board of directors is accountable.
Which is what the government is supposed to be to the voter.
Yes, the voter, the taxpayer is the taxpayer is the shareholder of the.
In actuality,
the town, the county, the state. The board of directors, the town council needs to be accountable to its shareholders.
The people that pay for the fucking shares.
Yes.
The taxpayers.
Yes.
Exactly. And the reason it's not is because there's a fucking deep state.
Here is my thought has popped into my head. What needs to be done is since you shareholder of the government, right, as a taxpayer, you need to show that you've paid taxes. So only those, they're talking about having felons and people, whatever. That's a whole different story about paying, whatever. As long as the IRS should be, in my opinion, the dictator of who gets to vote or not. You are a tax-paying citizen of legal immigration status, resident alien, a United States citizen.
Don't care if you're a man. Don't care if you're a woman.
Taxes,
don't care if you're black. Don't care if you're white.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm talking about green. You pay taxes.
That's what I'm getting. Yeah.
You pay. I'm talking about green card. U.S. citizen, whatever. You pay taxes. You are a shareholder of this government. You get to vote. You don't.
If you're a permanent resident and you pay taxes, you should have a right to.
I'm talking about every level. You are Donald Trump, and your tax return says you paid 0 taxes or you paid whatever. Dude, fuck you. You don't get to vote, bitch.
No, not that year.
I don't give a fuck if you're the president of the United States.
Not that year.
You don't get to vote.
Not that year.
Sorry.
You get to vote.
Sorry.
When you fucking pay taxes.
If you're the Koch brothers and your tax return shows 0, sorry, you don't get to vote.
I like that.